Okay, so just as a quick introduction to automated intelligence, our vision is to empower organisations to take control of their data so that they can take control of their future. Our expertise lies in understanding data and using technology to surface that information and enable those organisations then to extract and use the insight to take action. We specialise in supporting organisations bring their people and their data together in a cloud environment. We've been doing this for over 10 years now, and we've worked across a multitude of industries, such as the UK central and local government, media and communications, as well as financial services. Our experience in data management, governance and compliance means that we've naturally moved into that RegTech space. And with that, we've developed a solution dedicated to helping organisations meet the stringent data management requirements that they're faced with. And we do that all through Data Lift. So AI Data Lift is our cloud-based data management platform. It analyses, governs and reports on entire data estates. And our goal with the platform is to make it easier for your organisations to deliver your data management and information strategy to regulatory standards risk-free. So Paul, today we're going to be talking about remote working specifically and the challenges that we face with that, particularly in our environment. So do you want to kick off with kind of setting the context and the remote challenges around data that we specifically face in a remote working environment?
Of course, will do, Christina. Thank you. And good morning, everyone. As Christina said, I'm Paul Hudson, Head of Customer Success at AI, and I've kind of worked through the history of customers, understanding their challenges, needs, delivering solutions, and understand how our products best fit with them. So there's a lot of experience I have there with our customers, and so today I'm going to focus obviously on remote working and the problems of remote working that have been discovered by many people over the past few months. And there's a lot of experiences shared and insights into the impact on people, whether it's the rise in alcohol consumption, home delivery of cakes and buns, or the demands of re-education in order to deliver homeschooling. These are all the side effects of leaving the office one day, hopefully someone turned the lights off, and moving into the unused room in the house or the corner of the kitchen table. But today I'm going to focus on the friction caused between people and data as a result of this change. And this is a key challenge for us all today. So for most businesses, content is created, consumed, and stored across multiple data sources. If your business has not already made the leap and moved all of your data to the cloud into a managed service and rolled out the training and technology for the workforce, then there are probably a few key reasons for this. Getting a handle on the data, knowing what is out there and how it is being used, is one of the big ones to address. People are storing data in personal shares. These come under various names: home drives, personal drives, the P drive. We all have names that allude to these being private silos of data. They get used maybe when people are unsure of the correct home for data, or perhaps simply because they prefer their own structural view for easier retrieval. Although a simple wish just to keep unfinished drafts out of sight. This data set exists for most organizations for all staff. People will also use their local disks, whether on desktops, these don't port very easily to homes, or laptops, which are vulnerable to loss, damage, and theft when taken from the office. And the data stored on these can be key resources of information that have grown as a result of the need for people to protect data resources, to ensure business continuity when the network is playing up, or the proper home for information is down for maintenance, or they need to take a device and work somewhere else away from their desk. So a lot of data is stored also in email. Again, another private silo, but this has built-in sharing, enabling people to email to others who need it, which introduces a multitude of duplication. Mailboxes have grown into vast repositories of data because of the powerful search capability as well. Of course, people will use this as a form of storage for the search alone, because search is so important to us. We've gotten used to it. Wherever we're on the internet looking for information, search is our first go-to point. So the solution to get people working is not as simple as providing the capabilities and features they need in the cloud. Great those tools may be, simply providing a new place to store data will not lure people into using it, because it lacks what they need more than anything: their data. So how does this impact people in remote working situations? They need to connect to these sources, and it's typically across a virtual private network. that leads into your organizational infrastructure that is suddenly faced with unprecedented demands of everyone wanting access. So if the data is locked within organizational data centers, it needs to be connected to the outside world. This introduces a lot of security hazards in complex environments that have emerged over time. Even if we focus on unstructured data, probably the most hard to contain, sometimes to define, to manage or understand is equally a significant challenge. This presents so many challenges for any organization that is thinking about that move to the cloud. Now, I've mentioned unstructured data. It's a collective name for the information that your organization creates, stores, and all across all of those previously mentioned environments, and it's necessary to help carry out its primary tasks. The challenge is it isn't recognizable structure. It doesn't follow specific form. It isn't contained in a database that can be understood through rows and columns. It needs people to understand it, and it's notoriously difficult to govern. And I can talk about that through experience. So it's made up of your documents, presentations, PDFs, emails, multimedia content. It's the information created by members of staff either as part of a process or as a supporting information to assist in completing a task or a decision. Consider the spreadsheets that have been intrinsic to many operational activities in every organization. The power of a spreadsheet in the right hands to yield great insights is amazing, and it's testament to the creativity and versatility of people trying to get their job done. But they can have connections to other data sources, often unknown to the current day-to-day users. And so these present serious challenges for continued use of those platforms. Organizations will usually have lots of unstructured data, which is why it is notoriously hard to find anything, as there's no single pane of glass view, no enterprise-wide search. In fact, it's thought about 80 to 90% of corporate data is unstructured. Without improving the options for working collaboratively, without providing easier options to find the data needed, people at home are going to struggle, and they will increase this entropy of unstructured data as they make do and try to function as normal. The option to swivel around in the chair at your desk and ask a colleague where you will find that document, the one that you want to refer to or even contribute to, that is an option that will most likely draw blank looks from your cat or your 5-year-old or your partner. Instead, what is happening is people are requesting via email, and this will soon yield results. And another version of the data now sits not just in your mailbox, but also in your colleagues' sent items. And undoubtedly, in order to use that document, you'll be downloading it. And so the problem grows. So for an organization, the difficulty is knowing what this information is, why it was created, what it contains, and perhaps most importantly, what value it holds for the business. In other words, unstructured data poses particular challenges around visibility from data consumers' perspective and a governance perspective. The reality is that unstructured data is trapped within a wide array of content management systems and electronic document and record management systems and archives. In some cases, the data is less widely or actively used than others, but as with all of the data, this is often not clearly understood from an organizational perspective, and yet it plays a critical part in your day-to-day business. This introduces multiple pain points, providing access to remote workers. So without search, and with those multiple sources of data, it's not easy for people within the business to find data in these circumstances, even when they're in the office, with all of the desktop tools to access these multiple platforms, with localized bandwidth to potentially old and slow platforms. But a key expectation against that data you hold, beyond governance requirements, is that it's used. The value can be extracted from it. Yet in reality, according to a Forrester report, a conservative estimate is that 60% of data is not used, and that's conservative. So a lack of discovery capabilities such as index search is one reason, and the lack of discovery leads to behavior that exasperates other key aspects to data. It's trustworthiness. When data is hard to find, people hoard what they do find, that they think, yeah, that's handy to have. I'm going to make use of that in the future, so I'll take copy. Now, in theory, it is for reference purposes, perhaps, but this is creating multiple versions of the truth. It remains a duplicate until one or other version is changed. Then there is the distinct risk someone is working from an out-of-date data, as multiple sources of truth exist. Typically, when we've been working with our customers investigating unstructured data sources in preparation for a move to the cloud, On average, we discover approximately 10% of duplication, regardless of location of file name. This is exact duplication within the file. But duplication is problematic not just for the expense of storing this data twice, and that can be significant, but also the lack of control around who has access to the data. If 10% of your data is duplicated and moved to a cloud platform with index searching, a search is going to be reporting multiple results for these files, which then opens up the likelihood of an out-of-date version being found and accessed. And potentially this exposes data or other parts of the business inappropriately due to different permissions in the locations. When moving to a cloud platform, you are typically going to be restructuring data and opening up security in different ways. And so therefore these challenges arise. Also, all content should have a retention policy applied. And if this is correctly applied, which seems rare against older platforms and file shares, but assuming it is and the original content is disposed of in line with policy, the duplicated version still remains, putting the organization at risk through failure to comply to regulations. Most unstructured data sources hold somewhere between 60 and 80% of non-useful data. That is content known to have zero value to the business. This is the data that is redundant, obsolete, or trivial, and at the simplest level can be determined through file types and last modified dates. Much of it being inaccessible to current applications. In every organization we help, there are always thousands of file types. In one organization we work with, there are somewhere in the region of 72,000 file extensions. So it's a complicated situation out there. And on the subject of complex, let's think about complex spreadsheets that link to multiple sources, which are used to provide critical intelligence for businesses. They're prevalent in most organizations, and they are growing with the rise of the citizen data scientists. Increasingly, businesses recognize that these can harbor significant value for gaining insights that are often overlooked. So even being able to identify the prolific citizen data scientists in your organization is a major benefit. But with the move of this content to the cloud, you need to understand the impact this brings to links and the effectiveness of tools in use across the business. All of these are common challenges that emerge from analysis of unstructured data, and all of these present a significant challenge for helping your business adapt to remote working now and for future growth. Without understanding what data is used, where it's created, and how it is shared, opening the doors for remote working adds additional barriers to effective organizational governance and the user experience.
Okay, so we've gone through the challenges, but obviously we're remote working and we know there can be incredible benefits that come from that and it can be done successfully. So how do we enable organizations to take on that challenge and enable remote working for themselves?
Okay, well, there's a lot of complexities around it, as you'd imagine. I mean, remote working is not new, however. According to ONS statistics, in 2019, only 30% of UK employees ever worked from home. Of those, if you think about those who spend the majority of their time working from home, this has been slow to grow. In 2015, 4.3% of the population spent most of their working week working from home. In 2019, it had risen to just 5.1%. I mean, the most popular sector for home information and communication, scientific and professional sectors. And the roles most likely would be obvious, were typically managers, directors, and senior officers. So to state the obvious, this has changed significantly over the past few months. For the majority of people, working from home is now, with minimal time to prepare, an unavoidable reality. This is clearly a new experience for many employees and employers alike. Without a doubt, for many, it will become the new standard going forward. So if the infrastructure is not in place to ease the friction between people and the data they need to help your organization do what it has to do, what happens? The stress people are under through this change increases, and it has the risk of repercussions greater, with a greater impact to the mental health and well-being of your workforce. It may be outside. It certainly won't be visible if you do not have video conferencing as an option for a newly adopted policy of regular catch-ups. Voice calls and emails miss so many nuances when communicating with people. But the pressure to work mixed with the stresses of the massive change everyone is facing at home cannot be overlooked or underestimated. But let's talk about the benefits though. I mean, the benefits of moving to cloud stack up very well, although it may not seem obvious at this time when we're all spending perhaps just a little bit too much time at home. So remote working strengthens employee loyalty to a company. It encourages a long-term commitment. I mean, this helps develop the company culture as well and reduces the costs associated with recruiting and training new employees. Productivity is increased. Stressed, overworked employees are more likely to take more sick days or quit their job than the ones who aren't. The flexibility of remote working reduces stress by promoting this happier, loyal, and more balanced workforce. Offering flexibility of remote working contributes to attracting potential new starts as much as attractive pay packages. Research has shown that it's among the top considerations for employees in their search for a new role. Without the daily commute, staff morale gets a boost. They save money and time. And considering that approximately 70% of the workforce have children and approximately 1 in 7 have carer responsibilities, this makes it easier to balance commitments in their personal lives with the demands of their work life. Obviously, for many businesses, a sudden change has introduced significant challenges, and many have been ill-equipped to adapt to this altered state. Infrastructure, communication, and a culture of trust are all aspects of change that organizations usually take time to implement. Yet time wasn't an option, and here we all are, at home. In our webinar last week, we talked about cloud enablement. We discussed the approaches and challenges to the need to pivot very quickly, and a way data can be cloud enabled to help keep the lights on by getting data out to the people that need it as quickly as possible. Cloud enablement focused on a way to work around the creaking infrastructure, bandwidth, and increased VPN licensing at a time of considerable economic stress. Cloud enablement was the step towards becoming cloud first, without spending valuable resources on propping up an older, less flexible way of working. So today, if we take a step back and reinforce how the established cloud technology supports remote working, such that it can be an effective improvement to how we work. Before recent events, many organizations were already recognizing the intrinsic value to the business, and we were helping our customers on that journey. The reason being is that cloud technology is agnostic to your surrounds. It fits into your world, however it changes. Events like this pandemic forced new ways of thinking, new approaches to doing business. In effect, COVID-19 has been the catalyst for change on many levels. So for people, the bedrock of any organization, to be productive and creative, they need the tools, resources, and solutions within reach. While home working for many is new, the concept of remote working is not. And the technology and concepts are well established that you can embrace these and move to using them. Obviously, a key requirement is to move your people and your data to the same place where they can work together seamlessly. Some of the challenges coming to business have grown over time, introduced a level of inertia that held them back from embracing the world of cloud before we're all sent home. So these challenges, they haven't gone away but need to be tackled. So firstly, from a very high level, business leader buying is essential to provide that strong leadership. And to do so, they need to understand the value of remote working beyond the response to the current lockdown. It's not just a knee-jerk reaction. Understanding the potential of investing will drive clearer communication at the top that helps foster adoption of the new technology and culture. At AI, we provide guidance and support to help understand how to communicate and drive an agenda of change through this technology. Remote working through cloud technology introduces a new operational model for the business. The agility to work from anywhere, the flexibility to work anytime, greater connectivity internally and externally, allowing data to flow when and where it is needed, where value can be extracted and used for the business. It is a new organizational culture backed by data-driven focus. Remote working presents opportunities to overhaul the infrastructure required for bringing people and data together. The barriers have changed, and the use of cloud platform means that in effect you can bring data where your people are, to their homes, and remain confident that improved ways of working reduce the risks of data sprawl previously described that exist for many. So encouraging teamwork and collaboration through the use of platforms like Microsoft 365, you can empower employees to achieve more. With core services from a platform like Microsoft 365, such as SharePoint Online, Microsoft Teams, and Skype for Business, Exchange Online, business can enable digital transformation with a lot of support, opening up seamless yet secure access across devices through different tools with familiar interfaces and enabling people to find what matters within a few clicks. Employees can focus on more productive activities. When people are productive, Organizations accelerate their pace of change in response to those opportunities and threats they see. The landscape of collaboration has been changing significantly, and more people are collaborating together in more dynamic ways. As businesses have evolved, most employees are finding themselves engaging in many more collaborative teams across different functions of the business. High-performing businesses are proven to be those investing in collaboration, and collaboration is not simply internal. A fluid ability to work across organizational boundaries is essential. Fast adoption of tools, though, without clear communication, guidance, and general engagement with people, introduces frustration, low adoption rates, and will reduce efficiencies. There are many businesses that already have the cloud infrastructure available, but haven't rolled it out. It's only now they are realizing on the potential, and those organizations will have seen a gradual rise in awareness of the new world being offered. Pockets of the business, the champions of new technology and ways of working, will have already explored the new capabilities. Whilst there are so many features available that offer the promise of a transformational way of working, sometimes it's the simpler aspects that can be overlooked, which light up the day-to-day informational work tasks and bring people to the cloud far less painfully. You need to be able to alleviate the pain of collaboration and communication in small steps. So using Teams, and we use Teams, and it really does help with staff being able to find colleagues that are working in the same teams as you. And I don't mean in the Microsoft team, but in your physical teams in your workplace. You can choose how to communicate with them. So in Teams, you can either tag people through at and their name in public channels, and it brings to the attention of that person that conversation, or start in a private chat, which can easily be extended out to other colleagues, all the while being able to see whether colleagues are available, whether they're offline or in meetings. If the instant messaging approach is proving in need of a conversation, the call can be simply triggered, with or without video, with just one click. This provides a connected feel, even when you cannot walk over to someone's desk or swivel around in your chair and call out across the office. They're there at your fingertips. When a document is created direct within an Office product such as Word, saving this direct to a relevant location, whether it's in your team, your SharePoint Online, OneDrive, is so easy. And once in your team's library, or SharePoint, or OneDrive, there's automatic version control. So as you work with autosave on, the document is stored direct to this online storage. When inside the document, either working direct in the application or via the browser or Teams, you may feel the need to request contribution from a colleague. So you can do this, whether in the document or not. You can tag someone again, just at and their name, and you'll be able to find them and invite them into the document. As they join, they can be directed to specific parts of the document and can either comment in the margins or change content, and those changes can be tracked. When people collaborate within the document, they can see exactly where the other person is working. And sharing documents has never been easier and can be done either directly within the document, via the browser, or even in File Viewer, which harks back to older technologies that people may be more comfortable with. The key is to improve on the simple things first. Introduce the quick wins technology to help people adapt to remote working and just alleviate some of their normal challenges. However, when people move to the cloud and have access to fantastic tools, they will immediately be seeking access to their data. Without their data accessible, the platform will feel like a library devoid of books. This is where we at Automated Intelligence go beyond guidance, support, and consultation. We've delivered complex migrations from a wide range of organizations, whether it's central or regional, local government, financial services, media and comms, and from different platforms, whether it's RKYV, LiveLink, Meridio, Lotus Notes, file shares. We understand the challenges behind data and moving it to the cloud. So we help businesses transform data from the complex array of data sources into the likes of SharePoint, Teams, and OneDrive for Business. So just to talk about that, we do this using our platform DataLift. Now, this provides insights, governance, and migration capabilities. We're able to facilitate the delivery of migrations through key phases which can be conducted in parallel to support multiple migration streams. Firstly, we perform an initial metadata analysis of the unstructured data across the entire data estate. And this enables us to identify non-useful data to be remediated through an audited approval process with the option for archiving to an Azure store. This is an early discovery phase to identify any issues with metadata, such as inaccurate dates, which may fall foul of blanket disposal policies. Often we see files with last modified or created dates from before computers existed. If a remediation policy was triggered, these files could be deleted. So identifying content that needs further analysis is essential and helps combat the traditional inertia that has prevented remediation activities previously. The cleansing of zero-value content, the low-hanging fruit, can be driven by simple rules based on file types, locations, names, last modified, accessed and created dates. Typical examples include extensions such as dump and log, or file names including terms such as copy, temporary, or newsletter, and folder names such as recycle, download, temp, or even, as we often find, please delete. Combination rules such as files with names such as office, party, Christmas, christening, birthday, or with image extensions such as JPEG, PNG, etc. And if they're stored within personal share drives, that's a very quick win. Often seen events such as enforced policies of archive in the past and cleansing of locations will have induced spikes of data duplication, where staff are creating large zip files, PST files, or just copying large sections of data, trying to protect the data they're afraid they're going to lose. So with full reporting capabilities, users can be notified of content eligible for deletion. And with data lift, any large copies of data will be clearly visible and can be remedied. And this helps alleviate the challenge of people harvesting copies and storing them elsewhere. Once policies have been approved, a clear record of the policy action is captured, who made the decision, the whole decision process, and exactly which content was deleted is available. This provides an instant relief of pressure from any platforms already running at close to 100% capacity, but it's audited, so the whole decision process is there to demonstrate why it was done. And this is a key factor that holds a lot of people back. The next stage is to run a full content scan to understand and measure the risk posed by the data stored across that dataset. And subsequently, this enables a fully audited policy to be run to support immediate and ongoing data compliance. The level of analysis performed helps to identify high-risk content with minimal effort. An example, working with one customer, where database extracts were regularly being carried out from a HR application. Some of the extracts contain over 30,000 employee records. These are easily identifiable by the presence of 30,000 national insurance numbers. These files were stored in nested folders and have been retained over a period of 6 years. The detailed data insights are then able to provide understanding of metadata, content, ownership, and security context to help define and deliver accurate migration plans and support the design of a new target environment for migration. Understanding how teams work together, all of the repositories of data they have access to, is used to help shape the model going forward. Fully audited business-led migrations are then carried out to support transformation of data. A critical part of the migration is the retention of metadata, such as last modified and created dates. These will be necessary to ensure that any automatic retention policies can be implemented in the new platform in the future. Because AI Data Lift performs its analysis of metadata and content within Azure, this ensures that all stages of migration design, planning, and a fully scalable delivery can be achieved while original data remains in situ with no impact to the business as usual. Support for ongoing critical business needs, such as the common dependencies I mentioned before of complex Excel spreadsheets linking to other content. This is supported through automatic link detection and updating to ensure continuity of these key business applications. Delta migrations ensure all new and modified content is synchronized to the new environment on an ongoing basis to ensure that continuity and smooth transition to Office 365. So Data Lift provides that intuitive dashboard and detailed reporting to add value to the preparation of decision making between key business stakeholders and the Office 365 design team. This supports the definition of accurate business-focused requirements for both EDRMS design and migration planning activities. Both are essential for the successful completion of migration projects, for getting you into the cloud, for embracing that technology, that new platform for your business. When Office 365, the EDRMS and migration plan is complete, Datalyft will support that fully audited migration of content with the mapping of metadata, locations, user identities, all from the existing systems. This previously unavailable level of insight and capability, all accessible through one platform, results in minimal disruption to users and maintenance business as usual during the planning, delivery, and migration phases. And essentially, that is the point where you're bringing your data to your people at the same time as giving them collaboration tools, and that smooth transition then away from the old ways of working into the new, and giving you that resilience to move forward in future and respond proactively to events such as we've had recently. So hopefully that concludes how I see that we help with the rise of remote working with our technologies.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you very much, Paul.
No problem.
I just want to give anybody the opportunity, if they have any questions, to ask them before we round up for this morning. No, I think we're okay with that, although I do have questions. For me, these projects can feel very overwhelming because they can be so large scale. But you touched on that slightly there at the end when you talked about phases. We would always recommend going into using the quality of data to map out a phased approach. Would that be correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a triage aspect to this. So as you're moving people, understanding the good data, the data that they're using regularly, that they recognise and is part of their day-to-day activities, but also, as you say, is understanding the quality of it. So that insights, that being able to delve into it and form a better picture of it. So you could bring that across. It does not have to happen all in one go, but it's around what is actually relevant to make sure that they're comfortable that they have everything they need during those phases.
Brilliant. Okay, so I think unless anybody has any other questions, we will finish up for this morning.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you very much for everybody for giving up their time this Friday morning. I hope you all have a lovely weekend. And this is recorded. It will be shared after. If anybody has any questions which they would like to take off privately, please feel free to contact us. Or if you'd like to talk about any of the topics that Paul's kind of delved into, then again, we can go into more detail on that and we can arrange that for you. So thank you very much, and we'll finish up.
Thank you, Nick. Bye-bye.
Bye.